Removing the multiplication sign. In algebra, we like things clean and simple. Instead of writing 2 times x, we just write 2x. Why? It's faster, clearer, and makes equations look less cluttered. Think of 2x as 2 times some number. For example, if x equals 5, then 2x equals 10. It's that simple. This small change helps streamline our equations, making them easier to work with. Now, this idea of combining numbers and variables brings us to terms and factors. These are key components in algebra, and understanding them will help us solve more complex problems. Let's dive into terms and factors next. Terms and factors. In algebra, a term is simply a single unit. It could be a number, a variable, or a product of both, like 5x. Each part of a term has a specific role, and understanding these parts is crucial for solving algebraic equations. The parts of a term are called factors. For example, in the term 6x, the factors are 6 and x. The number 6 is multiplied by the variable x, and together they form a term. Here's a fun exercise. Think about a business selling products. If the price of each product is £6 and you sell X units, then your total revenue is simply 6x. Makes sense, right? The number 6, the price, and x, the number of units sold, are multiplied to find the total amount of money made. Now that we understand terms and factors, let's take it a step further and explore expressions, which are made up of multiple terms. Let's go. Expressions and order of operations. An expression in algebra is simply a combination of terms, like 2 times x plus 4 times y minus 9. But how do we calculate this? The key is to follow the order of operations, which tells us the sequence in which to solve the parts of an expression. Here's the order. 1. Multiplication and division come first. 2. Addition and subtraction follow after that. Let's try this with an example. Suppose x equals 5 and y equals 2. First, calculate the multiplication. 2 times x equals 10 and 4 times y equals 8. Then we move to addition and subtraction. 10 plus 8 minus 9 equals 9. It's that simple. You can use this same process when splitting a bill or calculating a budget. It works wonders in everyday situations. Now that we've tackled expressions, let's dive into understanding negative numbers and how they fit into our equations. Let's explore that next. Arithmetic with negative numbers. Negative numbers can seem tricky at first, but once you understand the rules, they become much easier to work with. Here are the basics. 1. Multiplying a positive number by a negative number results in a negative outcome. 2. Subtracting a negative number is the same as adding that number. Let's see how this works with a couple of examples. 2 multiplied by negative 3 equals negative 6. A positive number multiplied by a negative number gives us a negative result. 5 minus negative 3 equals 8. When you subtract a negative number, it's like flipping the sign and adding. So 5 minus negative 3 becomes 5 plus 3, which equals 8. Think about balancing your bank account. If you're overdrawing £3, a negative, and then you deposit £5, a positive, your total balance would be £8. See how negative numbers work together with positive ones? Now that we've got negative numbers covered, let's move on and clear up the concept of brackets, which help us group terms together and organize our calculations. Removing brackets and factorization. In algebra, when we multiply a term into a bracket, we distribute it across all the parts inside. For example, if we have 6 times the sum of x and 2 times y, we distribute the 6 to both x and 2 times y, resulting in 6 times x plus 12 times y. It's like spreading the 6 over everything inside the bracket, ensuring it multiplies with each term inside. On the flip side, factorization is the opposite process. It's about grouping terms that share common factors. For example, 5 times x plus 10 can be factored as 5 times the sum of x and 2. Here, we recognize that both 5 times x and 10 share the common factor of 5, so we factor it out. Think of factorization like grouping common elements together. This skill is extremely useful when simplifying equations, and it also comes in handy in real-world scenarios like business. For instance, when calculating costs or profits, you often group together similar expenses or revenues for easier calculation. Now that we've covered distributing and factorizing, let's move on to equations and see how these skills apply to solving for unknowns.